So in this video, I want to touch upon what house hacking is. So without any further delay, welcome to Frugal Finance. Let's get stuck in. So what's house hacking? It's actually a bit of an American term. I mean, if you Google people like Grant Stephan, Andre Gigues, Meet Kevin and so on, they will explain multiple times about what house hacking is. Essentially, in America, they have things called duplexes, which are multi-family units. So almost like if you think of it as an end terrace and a mid terrace and an end terrace, so three properties. They are sold as one as a duplex, and then basically you divide up those and you rent out the larger parts and live in the smaller part, and the income from that subsidises all of, if not everything, most of the cost of you living in that end. So you essentially live for free. We don't really have that kind of setup in the UK, but we can have our own version of UK house hacking. So how do we house hack in the UK? Well, we do it slightly different to our American counterparts in that what we need to do is actually rent individual rooms within our property out. So what I mean by that is if you've got a 3-bedroom house and perhaps you've got 2 bedrooms or 1 bedroom that is not being occupied, you could consider, and I appreciate this won't be for everybody, especially if you've got kids in the family or perhaps you now need to work from home or something, but what you could consider is renting out those or that room to a lodger. Now, hear me out, because I know people are always worried about lodgers and so on, but you can take deposits from them, you can check them, you can vet them. They tend to be much shorter term tenancies, so if you don't like them, then you can ask them to leave. You need to take your own advice as to the exact agreements that you need to get in place with them. But essentially, they're not 6-month ASTs like it would be if you bought a flat or a house and rented it to a tenant. The massive bonus of using a lodger to rent out your room is that you can earn £7,500 a year tax-free. Yeah, you heard it right, 7.5 grand tax-free. That might cover your mortgage payments. If you can get the full 7.5 grand, probably for most of us, that probably covers the lion's share, if not all, of the mortgage payments that you have on your particular property. Now, there's a link in the description below, and obviously we've got a screen at the side here which gives you the proof on the HMRC website of this particular tax-free amount that you can earn. After that, obviously you have to start declaring it. But in order to get to that £7,500, you could look at renting out 1 or 2 rooms. You could even look at renting out car parking space if you've got one, or your garage to somebody. Obviously there are pros and cons to these things, and you're having your nice little ecosystem interrupted by having somebody living there. But in these times of frugality and looking at your finances sensibly, hopefully that can generate you some income which you can then invest somewhere else, and it's tax-free as well. So it's not like it's 7.5 grand and you've got to pay 20% tax on it, so then it becomes more of a difficult decision to make. This is tax-free money, so therefore you can literally take that money and invest it. So if you could do that for 3 years, you're going to have £22,500 saved up. That might be enough for a deposit on a small buy-to-let property. The income from that buy-to-let property, net profit from it even, may be not dissimilar to the income you're getting from your lodger. So at that point you could make a decision and say, I'm no longer going to lodger out or tenant out my spare rooms because I'd like my space back, but I do now have this income coming in from over here, from this buy-to-let property that I've used that money to buy. So I think this is a really good tax efficient way of earning extra money, almost a side hustle of sorts. And I appreciate it's not going to be for everybody, and it's not quite as simple as house hacking is in the United States, because they're in a physical another building, but you might have a style of house that lends itself to separating it out into tenant areas and your own private area. But anyway, it's food for thought, something for you to consider. It's definitely a tax efficient way of earning some extra income. So with that said, if I could just remind you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button if you want a free stock in with Trading 212 valued up to £100. Please use the links below. I get a stock, you get a stock. They're valued, generally speaking, between kind of £8 and £15, give or take. But that will help you invest on that journey. And then obviously you've got links, affiliate links to books and various odds and sods below, which are financially related. So before you go, if you could just hit the like button and subscribe, I'd be really grateful, as that helps with the YouTube algorithm to get this video out to more and more people, and hopefully this may assist somebody out there and allow them to have a greater understanding. So with all that said, I'll see you next time.